On this week's episode, the battle is just beginning for Stranger Things. Minions gets a rise at the box office, and is there life for Magnum PI after all? All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening all of our shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanity Media, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, The Lakers Fast Break, and also as well Vampires and Vitae, PopCultureCosmos.com. Of course, our great site, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, where you can go ahead and follow the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every day. Plus, catch the number one tabletop RPG streamer right there on Facebook with tons of games going on each and every month right there for you at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. Of course, like I said, Humanity Media and so much more. And if you could support all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He's our own Magnum PI of Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at popculturecosmos.com. Humanity Media, his great stuff that he's doing for his shows, the Super BS Gamescast, and of course Topicocalypse, and also as well his amazing book, which you can get right now. Congratulations, You Suck, at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. It is my good friend. It is Josh Culture Cosmos, aka Josh Peterson. What's up, man?
What is up? What's going on? How you doing?
Well, you're good, but man, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank
Great
you.
weekend for you. Happy July 4th weekend or week to everyone out there because it's hitting on Monday for us here in the States. But I see you, you're grooming that mustache just like, Tom Selleck used to do in back in the day for that Magnum PI look right there, man.
Yeah, minus the beard. You just can't see the short shorts I'm sporting right now. So
All right.
probably good for everybody.
I know you've got that Hawaiian shirt just right there in the closet. I've got a few you can have in case you need it. So
Nice.
there you go. But the reason why we're talking about Magnum PI is there a life, a second life for the reboot of Magnum PI? There might just be, and we'll have the news on that on the back end of the show as Dawn Fobbs is here with her July TV update as she talks about Magnum PI, several other shows, including The Old Man and more. So check that out on the back end of the show. Plus, Josh and I on the back end of the show will be talking about Anime Expo 2022 that took place this weekend in Los Angeles. What's the future of anime? We'll be talking about some of the projects that were shown off there and Josh's overall thoughts on the world of anime. That's coming up in a bit as well. Plus, we're going to be touching on the success of Minions Rise of Gru. Also, as well, the boys had kind of like a Star Wars thing going on. We'll talk about that. Plus, also as well, Miss Marvel, where we at there? And of course, we're going to be talking all the things in pop culture right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But season 4 is done finally with Stranger Things, my friend. Man, it came to a cataclysmic ending with the
Don't say anything yet. I haven't seen the end.
well, okay, let's just say Hawkins is up in arms as far as it's concerned. I'll be generalistic as far as
Did
that.
you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing,
Oh,
finished it off for this show because at
okay,
the
my bad, dude. I can't this is the one show my wife will not let me watch without her, and she
okay.
is we've been struggling to stay up. So
All right. Well, I did it for you. I stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't remember checking it out. I will say again for those who have seen it, and probably there's already a couple 100 million, 300 million viewer hours already spent watching that. I will say that Hawkins is again in trouble, and of course that leads into an eventual and final season 5
Mhm.
for
Yep.
the ultimate battle to take place. So I think you know that's not very much of a spoiler. You know the Duffer Brothers are setting everything up for season 5. I
The
know there's
the final showdown.
yeah, the final showdown. So I don't think that's a secret out there, but I really like where season 4 ended up, you know, obviously setting itself up for that, but it did a great job of going ahead and you know, both sides, both dark and light, good and evil, get their shots in, of course, and the way they went about going ahead and you know, getting everything together and aligning everything together, you knew was heading up to that if you checked out the first what 7 episodes, I believe, if that's correct on as far as part 1 is concerned, and then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
yeah, and sets you up for season 4, part 2, which is essentially 2 episodes, but it's almost 4 hours long as far as for those 2 episodes. So I know that episode 2 is over 2 hours, and I know that episode 1 is well over an hour as well. So yeah, you're checking out a lot of good things there with season 4, volume 2. So I won't give away too many spoilers. I will just say again, it leads up everything to a cataclysmic battle that leads into a bigger battle on the horizon in season 5.
It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. I'm excited to sit down and watch it. We're about 30 minutes through the first episode. My wife keeps falling asleep every time we turn it on.
Oh
So
man, you gotta check it out, man. You
I
gotta catch up with
know,
that.
I know. I want to so bad. I want to. It's like it's killing me that I have not watched the whole thing yet.
Okay, so again, volume 2, the first episode, which is episode number 8, I think for season 4, that's well over an hour, and of course, the final episode of the season is well over 2 hours just to get everybody prepared. That was a movie in and of itself, which kind of surprised me just because of the fact that, again, Netflix is just giving the Duffer Brothers the leeway. They're just giving them the whole carte blanche. And even though Netflix has had its troubles with other areas of its operation and they don't have the same amount of subscribers that they once did, they've actually, again, in this year, reported that they've gone down slightly, which has led to some layoffs and cuts backs and things of that nature on other parts of their operation. There's no shortage of what they're spending on season things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, let's look at it. It's become like a pop culture icon. You know,
Yeah.
like people are flocking. Like it. If anything is keeping Netflix afloat right now, it is the people wanting to see Stranger Things. Like they had so many people trying to watch the new episodes. I think it was on Thursday night that actually crashed Netflix.
Yes.
So I mean that goes to say a lot. I feel like as far as the extended episode times go, I'm wondering if they had this was like this a lot of this was filmed pre-pandemic, so they had a lot of that stuff already lined up, but then during the pandemic they decided they wanted to add on to a bunch of things. So I'm curious if um they ended up restructuring things, and what we got with season 4 part 1 was actually like the end of the season, and then
Yeah.
these 2 episodes here are like bonus, kind of like bonus material.
Well, if it's bonus material, then it's a lot of bonus material. In fact, that last episode, again, 2.5 hours long. And in doing so, it does stretch things out a little bit for whatever takes place at the end of season 4. I can't, again, divulge too much out of it because I know people out there like Josh still haven't finished catching up with it yet. But believe me, as everybody out there knows, it leads or it's going to lead to a cataclysmic battle that's going to take place in season 5. I don't know how many episodes season 5 will end up being, but you know, Josh, Duffer Brothers, right now they can literally write their own check that Netflix will cash.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, with those almost $20 subscription fees, I'm sure there's plenty of money to give.
Absolutely, indeed. But if you have thoughts out there on season 4, volume 2, or the entire season 4 of Stranger Things, we would love to hear your thoughts, although not too spoilery because I know Josh is still waiting to catch up with Stranger Things. But please, if you have any thoughts on Stranger Things season 4, volume 2, or Stranger Things season 4 in and of itself, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, the other big winner this weekend, outside of Stranger Things, I guess technically it'll become the most watched television season of all time, beating, or as far as a streaming entity is concerned, beating the Squid Game at its own game. But the thing is, I don't know. Would you count it as a win because it was so close to doing it before Volume 2? Would you count it as a win? I'm not sure because, again, I put an asterisk on it because, again, they broke it up into two parts as opposed to what they, did for Squid Game, just, throwing all the episodes right there for you. What are your thoughts on that before we go ahead into the next?
I mean, I feel like it was a good way to create customer retention.
Oh,
Like
yeah, they have to do that. Absolutely.
yeah, and I feel like it was really nothing beyond that. Or maybe it's them trying to like keep the hype train rolling. I guess. Well, because you look at it, the last season released what, June 4th, June somewhere around there, and it. What am I trying to say? It
Well,
released.
they broke it up this
They
time.
broke it up, yeah, but I mean, and then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna release a second part in just a month." So I mean, I feel like there was definitely. I'm wondering if Netflix had a hand in this, so people could like,
Of
if people were
course.
trying to get through like their 30-day subscription or whatever, and then like,
Yeah.
oh wait, now you have to pay for an extra month. I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me.
Well, they're going to be doing this not only Netflix, but I think we're going to see other streaming outlets emulate this as far as doing the two-parter deals concerned, as opposed to just throwing all the episodes out there for their most popular vehicles. I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing this a lot more often from at least Netflix, if not other streaming outlets, especially for, again, let's say for Squid Game season 2. I have a feeling they'll throw that into two parts just to keep you strung along for
Yeah.
another month. I know Umbrella Academy though it hurts. I think that's the bad part of it is that it hurts other shows like the Umbrella Academy, which came out for season 3, which came
Yeah.
out just before Volume 2 of
That
Stranger
was
Things came out.
dumb. That was a dumb release plan for them,
Yeah.
though, but I wonder if that was already slated before they're like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna break this season up into 2 parts."
Well, you kill that show. You kill that show because of the fact that it was just barely out, and then already, boom, you've got the second part of season Stranger Things,
But
and that to me
y
really hurts myself as a viewer because Umbrella Academy is pretty good in itself.
yeah, but also, like, let's be honest here, if for anyone who's been watching Umbrella Academy season 3, it's kinda killing itself. I mean,
And it
it's
ended up pretty good.
I mean, I just like, let's let go of the time travel thing and let's just do something like original. Like they've been clinging to time travel for 3 seasons now. Let's just like let it go and find a new story to tell.
Well, maybe they will in season 4. It gave a little bit of a hint of that in season 4 as far as jumping into a new timeline. Maybe they'll stay there. I know there's rumors that this could be the final season 4 for the Umbrella Academy because the creators had a 4 season. It's believed that the creators might have had a 4 season envision in mind, but you never know. Netflix could back up the Brinks truck like they did for the Duffer Brothers and do another season
Never
even
know.
more.
But it was that I did really, really love that like opening dance number that they did. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
was
to
that was
Footloose.
that was really funny. Yeah.
Well, it is again Umbrella Academy and Stranger Things on Netflix. So if you have any thoughts on that, please let us know. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, there's still much more to talk about on today's program. Plus, we have later in the show Don Fobbs with a July TV update, and we'll also be talking Anime Expo on the back end of the show. But my friend, also this weekend, scoring a big hit with the largest animated opening since Frozen 2 is your friend and mine, The Minions Rise of Gru, which scored a $100 million opening in its first 3 days. Going to do about 130, 140 here in the States alone, when it was expected to do 150 worldwide. And it's going to do well over $200 million in its first weekend worldwide at the box office. So that's a big hit for Universal and Illumination. Your thoughts on why this succeeded and Lightyear didn't?
So, this is I've been chatting a lot about this with my wife.
Your wife is your sounding board, that's for
She's my
sure.
sounding board. Yeah, because I mean, most of my friends like don't care about this stuff anymore, except for you, of course.
Of course.
Um, but you know, I'm looking at like Lightyear. Lightyear made the mistake of coming out Father's Day weekend, right? And then
Yeah.
on top of that, they're kind of like using I don't know, their like marketing was weird for this, and then you know, on top of that had all the controversy with characters in the movie and all that. Then you look at Minion, and Minion is just like a move. Rise of Gru is just a movie where there's no expectations, there's no social agendas at play. It's just you
The
go in,
gags.
it's just gags. You just go in, you watch it, you laugh, you get the ooh banana, and then that's it. You know that no one is really expecting things, which made me laugh because I'm like, I'm sitting here reading a review from Variety, and they're like, it falls short because it doesn't have a plot. What are you expecting from a movie about tiny yellow men? Like why even bother rating this movie? You gave this movie a 5. Why bother with it because it doesn't have a plot? Why were you expecting a plot from little yellow men who or when whatever they are walking around making fart noises and yelling banana over and over again? Like I don't Right, right. I don't understand. Like this movie, it's just funny. It's fun to go watch. It's hilarious. Like I just don't understand. Like, oh man, it doesn't check my boxes, and I'm gonna give it a bad rating. Like, who cares? You know, I went to the movie theaters this past week. I didn't watch Minions, but like I went in like there's a big line of people wanting to go see Minions, and that's because it's just a movie. You don't have to think about it. There's no, like I said, no like social plays going on the movie. It's just a fun movie to watch, and good for them. Good for them.
And I agree with you on that. I know that's something that you and I talk about as far as the critic culture is concerned. I think that IGN gave it a 5 as well. And I'm thinking to myself, again, this is just minion jokes for 2 hours. They,
Exactly.
you,
Yeah.
at Universal and Illumination, they know where their bread is buttered. They just
Right.
make 2 hours of minion jokes, and with the Despicable Me, they kind of have to tell a little bit of a story, which again centers a little bit around Gru, but still on the side have maybe a half hour or 45 minutes of minion jokes added on
Mhm.
to it.
Right.
So that's it has to be a little bit more structured. I get that, but for Minions, it is 2 hours of Minion jokes, and if you're like you and I, which love the Minions, I can't wait to go ahead and watch this movie. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Exactly.
In fact, what this movie has done is made me kind of get the itch to go back and rewatch all the Despicable Me and Minions, which is what, about six now, 6 movies in for the
I think it
combined
was like
universe.
5, right? I mean, there's 3 Despicable Me movies,
Is
1
there
Minions,
three?
and then this one that just came out.
Okay, so it's five. Okay, so
I think.
yeah,
I
I'm
could be
ready.
wrong. Could be wrong.
But again, it's a recent IP. It's something that is, actually developed over the last decade, and it's been a big hit for Universal and Illumination. And you know what? The expectations should just be, we talked about on Friday, Melinda talked about, just shutting with some things that you're watching where you can just enjoy, like the terminal list on Amazon Prime with Chris Pratt, just turning your brain off. Yeah, it's horrible, getting horrible reviews, but just turn your brain off and just check it out and watch.
Yeah.
That's what you should do with Minions. Just
Oh,
turn your brain
absolutely.
off and just enjoy the fart jokes, just enjoy the Minions jokes, just enjoy the Minions for what they are.
Right. And let's be honest here though. You should be able to do that with a lot more movies. You know, like this goes beyond Minions, you know, just make a movie people can enjoy. Stop like trying to create problems where there aren't any, you know? I mean, even looking at these Miss Marvel, we have, you know, the race and gender sexuality stuff. Just let the characters be there organically. Like don't go out of your way to like make your audiences feel like create controversy with all that. Just let people watch movies and let people make up their own minds about them. It's all weird. Also, my daughter got one of those Despicable Me fart guns for
Yeah.
her birthday, and it was like the greatest gift she's ever received.
There you go. Just
Yeah.
hearing that all day long. I'm sure you're enjoying that. But it is Minions, Rise of Gru, and it is a big hit at the box office, earning almost $130 million here domestically in its first 4 days of release. and then going $200 million worldwide, exceeding expectations. Again, that's a big hit for Universal. They're able to go ahead and extend this IP out. It seems like it's not running out of steam anytime soon, so I'm sure we'll be seeing a Despicable Me 4 coming along at some point. I love the way they alternate Despicable Me, Minions, Despicable Me, Minions. They really know how to go ahead and space these out.
You know what I would love to see? A Minions slash Rabbids crossover. Like get them to team up with Ubisoft. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
just imagine the chaos that could happen on the screen with something like that.
Well, there you go. But it is Minions Rise of Gru. And if you have thoughts on Minions and the Rise of Gru doing so well at the box office this July 4th weekend, this Canada Day weekend. Big shout out to our friends who celebrated Canada Day over the course of the past few days. So big, big, big win for Minions Rise of Gru. And if you have thoughts and have checked out Minions Rise of Gru, or if you're really into or not into the Minions and the Despicable Me universe, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Couple last tidbits before we hit the break, my friend. You mentioned Miss Marvel, which is now through almost all of its episodes. Episode 4 just finished up, episode 4 of 6. It is chugging right along. They went to Pakistan, Miss Marvel, learning more about the origins of the bangle that she's wearing that gives her her powers. She learned a little bit more as she headed over to Pakistan in this latest episode. She gets some friends with the Red Daggers, a group that's I guess just born or just committed to going ahead and fighting for the side of good against the clandestines or the Jinn, which we see has, I don't know, it's just one of the stupidest scenes I've seen from a Marvel TV show yet. In that there was like, I don't know if you saw it already with the damage control location that looks
Mm-mm.
very similar to the jail locations that they've set out in the movies for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is supposed to be this big super prison that they show you in the first scene. And in less than what, almost seemingly 90 seconds, they seemingly break out of this super prison because you've only got 3 guards guarding all these Jinn, these super powered clandestines that they're going ahead and supposed to be incarcerated, so they easily get out of this big super prison. I just thought that was so dumb. It kind of threw me off for the entire episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 90 seconds or 2 minutes worth of footage, but yeah, sometimes with me, those little things they just
Oh,
bother me.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, and this is where like I have really enjoyed Miss Marvel so far, but much like some of the other things in the Marvel television shows, like they do things to cut corners for story for to set up to set things up, and they don't really think about like how realistic this might be.
And like that, like just like that, and that just it irritates me to no end. But Miss Marvel didn't. It was more fun episode this week. I know it's for me. It's been a little bit up and down as far as the whole adventure of Miss Marvel, but for me, it was on a little bit up because they did have, outside of that very glaring error, they did have I guess, a spirited episode in Pakistan. There was a nice car chase per se, and it was actually very fun to watch that end of it, although it did, go through a lot of tropes. But still, with Miss Marvel trying to find and understand out her powers and the red dagger that comes to her aid in this episode, I kind of like that part of it. But again, just the way they got there, especially with that one small scene
Yeah.
that couldn't been elaborated on, that couldn't been more extended upon, or that should have been. I really think that, again, it's kind of a mixed bag, but overall, when they're in Pakistan, I thought I liked what I saw.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's and that's what I've kind of enjoyed about like Moon Knight and Miss Marvel at this point is that you are going to see different cultures and you're going around the world,
Yes,
different locations. It's not just a big fight in a big city, and I
yes.
think that that's one thing that they are doing right, but they do need to kind of watch out for this, like, I'm gonna do this just because I want to set this scene up down the road. Like, it doesn't make sense. Does
Uh,
it feel like logic? I know there's no logic in superhero movies at all, but like, is somebody gonna look at that and be like, "Oh, that was kind of dumb"?
Well, I like the fact that they have gone. Well, I know that the series started in New Jersey, near New York area, and seemingly every Marvel series also always has to take place at or around New York. So I'm glad they kind of veered away from that in Pakistan. And again, the glimpses of the Pakistani culture that I like it very much. That I enjoy seeing because I learn more and I understand more about different cultures that we have in our world. But yes, sometimes the way they get there is kind of just not the way I would go about it.
Right. Hey, also, before we move on from superhero things, did you get a chance to check out the trailer for Black Adam? I just saw that like in the movie theaters this past week. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it does look really cool. I think that this is going to set up to be one of the foundational pieces for DC going forward. I really like what I saw from that. I know that Ben Arnault and I just recently had a conversation about DC and where it's going and the problems because of Ezra Miller still getting in trouble, still
Yeah.
out there. Just, I don't know how much longer he's going to stay the face of Flashpoint. We really think that at some point he is going to be replaced. I think it's in their best interest to reshoot
Yeah.
scenes with Grant Gustin or another replacement. Just, I really think that they should not go ahead and continue down the road they're going with Flashpoint.
Yeah, the problem I've been reading is that they've spent so much money on this movie because it was supposed to like reset everything for
Yep.
the DC film universe, and they've spent so much money on it that they're afraid of what's going to happen if they have to go back and reshoot scenes. But yeah, I mean, Grant Gustin would be cool, or whoever else is out there that could play the part. But I mean, yeah, they need to do something with Ezra Miller because obviously there's not going to be any continuation of his role after this movie is goes out because he's too much of a liability. And I know that the new owners of Warner Brothers are doing everything they can to kind of right the DC ship, and I know this isn't really helping matters much.
No, it's not at all with all the legal troubles that he's having and all the heinous things that have been alleged and actually shown on video that have actually been
Mhm.
captured is really not helping the situation at all. And the current situation that's going on with Ezra Miller, I think, is going to complicate things. And if it continues like this and the Flashpoint is released, I think there's going to be a backlash that I don't think Warner Brothers and DC is going to like.
No, no, absolutely not. But let's hope for the best. I'm sure they'll figure out how to solve this, and if not, they'll learn a lesson from not solving it, I suppose.
What are your thoughts out there on Flashpoint? Are you like Josh and I and on my previous conversation, which you can still check out on the library that is Pop Culture Cosmos? You can go ahead and check out what our thoughts on that on the Friday show. And right now, what are your thoughts out there on Flashpoint? Should it continue as planned, or should Ezra Miller be replaced by Grant Gustin or someone else? Please let us know. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. And before we hit the break, my friend, one last thing is The Boys, episode 7 for season 3. It wasn't as monumental as Hero Gasm was last week. I think that Hero Gasm, again, for me, is the best episode I've seen from The Boys overall in the entire series. This one kind of took like an exhale and then an inhale as it tried to go ahead and tell more stories as far as setting itself up for the rest of the season. But it did drop one little tiny nugget at the end of the episode, which was very reminiscent of Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, with a reveal of a familial nature. So, have you checked out The Boys, and are you up to date on what's going on with certain familiar issues going on there, right there with The Boys?
I am not, but go ahead and spoil it for me because now you got me curious.
Okay, we find out where Homelander, who is the main antagonist of the series, and pretty much where everything in this series centers around, as far as Homelander is
Mhm.
concerned. Anthony Starr, who does a great job and has been doing such a great job in this for 3 seasons now, as he's trying to go ahead and right the ship for Vought International and trying to get everything going, he's learning of this Jensen Eccles and his character that he's playing in Soldier Boy, who has reemerged with the help of the boys. after what 40 years or something like that. He comes, they get him out of release of a Russian cryo prison, obviously emulating what Marvel has done with the Winter
Yeah.
Soldier. And the thing is though, he has this I guess involuntary reaction sometimes, and he can go ahead and build up this energy that blows up a a wide area of whatever. And he's gone, actually when he was in New York, he blew up a wide area and killed many people. And he did the same thing in Herogasm, where he got so angry he built up this ball of energy that just destroyed where this Herogasm was taking place. And the big reveal is that Soldier Boy, even fighting off against Homelander like he did in episode 6, in episode 7, instead of a confrontation, they have a conversation on the phone that's almost as important as just before the credits. You find out that Soldier Boy, before he was imprisoned and captured by the Russians, he actually gave some DNA in a thing to go ahead in an experiment to go ahead and build a better hero per se at that time in 1981. And wouldn't you know, that's right around the time Homelander was born. So,
Oh, okay.
so
Wait. So
yes,
Soldier Boy, is he like super strong and stuff, or is he just?
yeah, Soldier Boy is super strong and stuff. Plus, again, he gets this ball of energy which he cannot control. Sometimes he gets so angry he can control it if he wants to go ahead and kill a certain person. But sometimes when he hears Russian music, he gets I get so messed up. He actually blows up a wide area that's around him,
Okay.
which is shown, of course, across the season so far. But the thing is, yes, at the very end of episode 7, he reveals that he is the father of Homelander. So you find
Oh,
out,
look out!
yeah, you find out that, yeah, just laid it down the law with Homelander. And I don't know where it goes from here next. Do they become allies? Do they still stay enemies? But it's become very interesting. But I will praise Jensen Ackles' performance so far in Soldier Boy. The great performances keep on coming for this show, and that's one thing. That's one reason why the show has succeeded so well, is because of the fact that the performances are so good that are behind it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and Carl Urban is definitely a big piece of glue for this show. Like he is just his character is very enigmatic, and you want to
Yep.
know more. Homelander is he's terrifying. He's like someone you would run into at like a corporation, like they seem very kind, but then behind closed doors they're like murdering people and stuff. Like he's a very good villain.
And with this temporary compound V that he and Huey are using in the series, it's that could eventually kill them if they keep on using it, because they're now addicted to the temporary V powers. That becomes an even more perplexing thing going forward as we close out the season of The Boys coming up in a not too distant future. So if you're at where I'm at, or if you want to know more, if you want to have thoughts out there on season 3 of The Boys and the reveal, the Darth Vader like reveal that Soldier Boy is the father of Homelander, please let us know. PopCultureCosmos@yahoo.com. Well, coming up next, it is Don Fobbs with our July TV update. Then Josh and I will be on the back end of the show talking the Anime Expo and where anime is at in 2022. That's coming up at the back end of the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back to close out the show. It's the Pop Culture Cosmos. Want to thank Don Fobbs from the Mother Daughter Ish podcast, as always, for stopping by in the program. But before we head on out, my friend, LA, SoCal, our former base of operations, they held this weekend Anime Expo 2022. And from what I see, it was a great celebration. A lot of people attended. So I know that going back to cons is now a good thing in many ways. So people are going to go ahead and check out Anime Expo this weekend. They did check out Anime Expo this weekend. I want to hear your thoughts on this, as many of the shows that were shown off there: Thousand Year Blood War from Bleach, Bleach, A Thousand Year Blood War, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, they're both on Netflix. Crunchyroll's big hit Spy X Family. I mean, there's some really good shows out there for the anime world. It is still anime for the most part still kind of on the cusp, I think, of doing and getting out to a much larger audience. I think Star Wars and other big properties have dealt, have dipped into the waters of anime. So I think the future is bright for anime. But your thoughts as Anime Expo 2022 becomes a big hit this past weekend?
I've noticed this too is that anime is getting huge. I remember
It's
growing
not
up,
mainstream yet, but it's very.
it's
I think it's
getting
on the cusp. On the
close. It's
cusp, yeah.
getting really close. I mean, you go to Target now and Target has manga sections and it's almost everywhere you go now. Like just even at the mall up the road from us, they just put in this big old anime store and it's like filled with statues and wall scrolls and things like that. But I remember in the '90s, like anime was so niche, right? You had your big properties, you had your Cowboy Bebops and Triguns and things like that. But now it's everywhere. You see anime T-shirts everywhere, and it's funny because like would love to watch anime at some point, but I feel like I've been left behind, and I see all these people at Anime Expo and I'm like, "Oh, there's got to be something good out there that I can watch, but I don't even know where to start because there's so much of it now." Um,
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
with Netflix having so much of a imprint now in the anime world, Hulu with its share of animation, and Crunchyroll still out there getting its dedicated fans catching that channel. I mean, there's still many places to go for people that are into anime.
Oh, for
Even
sure.
Disney Plus with Star Wars Visions
Mhm.
has touched on anime and will do so again with a season two whenever that comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. On Netflix, I think I watched Knights of Sidonia was a good one. They just did a theatrical release of the closing movie in that series. That was really cool. I know Dragon Ball's still going strong. Bleach is something people really love. Demon Slayer has been great.
Oh,
Spy
my
X
my
Family.
daughter loves Demon Slayer.
Yeah, yeah. I know Inuyasha ended a couple years ago, and they had some sequel series come out. So it's definitely Vans just did like a crossover with Sailor Moon. So I don't know if you're a big shoe collector, but like that's pretty cool. It's definitely leaving an imprint on our society. Super stoked though. Trigun Stampede is coming out. That's like a computer animation. I don't know if it's a remake or a sequel. I feel like it seems risky to do a remake of such a beloved series. So it'd be cool if this were more of like a sequel, but they haven't really clearly stated that yet. So I don't really know what's going on with that. It's done in the same animation style as like those Godzilla shows on Netflix. So it's kind of like half anime, half computer animation, but still pretty exciting. I just hope that when they do the English voiceover that they get Johnny Young Bosch to play the role again. But we'll see. We'll see. Definitely need to set aside some time though to check out some of this new anime coming out.
Well, the thing is, though, with the failure of Cowboy Bebop, I think that the large scale projects where, they're going to be a little bit trepidatious at Netflix and other places because of the fact that Cowboy Bebop didn't
Oh,
really
for
hit
sure.
with audiences as much as they wanted to. Obviously, they canceled it after season one, which I found kind of disappointing because I thought it was good enough to get a season two, but
Mhm.
need I digress on that? It didn't unfortunately come out to bear on that. But still, with anime really starting to gain a cusp on a mainstream audience that I think will go ahead and eventually warm up even more to it, especially with all these major properties like Star Wars. I think eventually Marvel will get more into anime. I
Marvel
think
they did a little bit. Remember back in the day they had a Wolverine anime and an X-Men and Iron Man anime. So they've definitely tried.
I think they'll go back into it, especially with the success of Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus. Plus, I think that you'll see other major entities starting to go ahead and delve and dip their toe to the anime waters. But I really think as they celebrate Anime Expo and one of the biggest celebrations of anime each and every year, I really think that it's going to look better and better for anime down the road.
Oh, absolutely. And they're even starting to with like Evangelion. This started a long time ago, but they're retelling these anime stories that were such like beloved hits. So I mean, there's anime for everybody. There's anime for the nostalgia people. There's anime for the people that grew up with stuff like that. Even like Robotech, I think, has been remade to some point.
Yeah,
The Mobile Suit Gundam. Like there's anime for everybody out there, whether you're a new fan, an old fan. Like it's breaking out of the niche category that it was in, and it's becoming big. And I think in a couple years we're gonna see it kind of rivaling what's going on with the superhero world.
you're going to see it rivaling to what? Oh,
What's
I'm
going
losing.
on?
Can you go ahead? Now I got you. I got you back.
Okay, I was gonna say I see it kind of rivaling the Star Wars and superhero stuff.
Absolutely. So, what are your thoughts out there on Anime Expo taking place this weekend right there in Los Angeles? Are you happy with where the future is going for anime on all these streaming outlets and basically in the consciousness and the minds of pop culture and the general audience out there at large? Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, before we head on out, my friend, I thought I'd drop one last thing, and that is the seemingly the end of Cuphead with the last, I guess, DLC that's being done for it. I guess for now, let's say bring out a Cuphead 2, which I'm sure they will because it's been such a great success. But the Delicious Last Course is the last bit of DLC that was released this past weekend. Your overall thoughts on Cuphead before we head on out?
I haven't had a chance to actually play the game, but I've talked to many people who have and have loved it. And I Brank from the Super BS Gamescast played the Delicious Last Course, and he said it was phenomenal. So I guess that like really goes to show like there are really like special games out there like Cuphead that can continue to hold an audience just because of how great they are. And you're seeing some more properties like that. You have Hollow Knight and Stardew Valley, like these things that these indie developers work really hard on, and they end up like becoming huge with mainstream gamers. So good for them.
Absolutely. Good for them. Cuphead overall has done a great job with, I guess, creating its own life of the successful indie game, which has now garnered a life its own with a lot of products. They've got an actual series on Netflix, a cartoon series, animated series that people need to check out. So, yeah, kudos to the folks making Cuphead with the final DLC that's been released for it. So if you have thoughts on the Delicious Last Course and overall the success of Cuphead, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, I wish you and Tom Cruise, who hit 60 again, a happy birthday. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
No, not that I can think of. If you guys are in the market for some good games like Steam, Microsoft, PlayStation, Nintendo, like there's a ton of good sales going on right now. So I'd highly recommend jumping into those marketplaces, checking some things out, and we'll talk more about video games and stuff at a later date, I'm sure.
With Prime Day around the corner, I know that's everybody's looking towards that. There's still the Steam summer sale going on. Epic Games has a sale, so if you're a gamer right now, it's a good time to go ahead and get some deals. And in a couple weeks, you've got again Prime Day from Amazon come around the corner, so we're looking forward to that as well. But man, you and Tom Cruise sharing a birthday weekend, man. He's hitting 60. I hope you're not hitting 60.
We're like BFFs, so it's all good.
Okay, okay, all
Yeah.
right. You're the wingman, right?
It's true, yeah. I'm the goose to his maverick.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely indeed. So truly appreciate everybody watching out there. Please catch all the stuff we do this week at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. And of course, you can catch the latest news and trends in pop culture right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great